All right, let's circle it back. I want to come back to barbells because, again, that's a super traditional piece of equipment and everybody can benefit by using a barbell at some level. It's just like when and how. So to make a very strong point, no, not every barbell weighs 45 pounds, nor does it need to. At Red Dot, we've got...
It's like 43.
We have a ton of barbells here. They're all different weights, sizes, lengths, depending on the application we're going to use it for and the client that we're going to use, that's going to be using it. There's all different kinds of things. A lot of gyms don't have that kind of variety, right? Go back to buying all those different pieces of equipment. They buy this huge set of stuff and it comes with 10 of these and 5 of those and whatever else. And then somewhere along the line, they'll get this conglomeration of stuff, maybe a few things, but not all barbells are created equal. Again, weight,
not all plates.
Weight, yeah, and that's true too. Not all weights. I mean, if you take a 45-pound plate, in some cases, put it on the scale, and take another 45-pound plate that has the same stamp and same imprint on it, you're going to find some wild difference. Like this shit's 1.5 pounds lighter. It's literally that
you're
kind of
paying for calibrated plates.
Yeah,
exactly. If they're calibrated, you're paying for that.
Yeah, a lot of people ask, why do we have the funny name plates in here? Because I'm not dealing with what you just mentioned. Exactly. They are calibrated plates. Calibrated. I digress. So going back to the barbell. So Jeff had made a point earlier about the barbells being fixed. So your hands are fixed doing a bench press. And if you've got some discrepancy in strength or stability or mechanics within your pressing motion, the barbell could be problematic. It doesn't mean it is going to be problematic. It just means it can be problematic. So it's also one of those things where you might, so from a mechanical perspective and actual lifting perspective, something to think about before you start grabbing barbells and doing these more traditional type movements. Again, nothing you can do with the barbell that you can't do with dumbbells. Yep. Something to think about there. The other thing is a lot of people don't have these in their garage or in their home gym or in their little apartment gym or whatever for a couple different reasons. One, because they're expensive, right? Two, because they're coveted and they'll walk right out the fucking door if you leave them unattended, right? So they don't have them. They may have had one in there at one point. Three, they only have one. Right. And everybody's trying to use it. Right. Yep. So that's another thing. Or you just don't have space. So like if you're in a little home gym and you're in like one of these, I mean, like these apartments around us are like little boxes, right? Like if you're trying to set up some type of an inside home gym, you don't have a garage, put it in or whatever, you don't even have room to get a full barbell on a rack with plates on it. So I think that's one of the things that people are a little unfamiliar with using them if they've had a home gym and they walk into a gym. It's like, where do I start with this? I've got it's bench presses and incline presses, and there's a squat rack over there. And how do I do all this? When's a good time, CC, to implement the barbell into your programming, and how do you do it?
That's a good question. It's all about where an individual is in front of you as far as where they are in their fitness journey, what their experience has been like, and how well do they move, and what's their orthopedic history. So, again, I mean, there have been some individuals that I've had that are brand new to resistance training, and I will put a barbell in their hand, but we might not be back squatting and we might not be deadlifting, but you know what? We can push up on it like a push-up for an inverted push-up. Mm-hmm. We can pull on it like an inverted row.
So it's set up. So it's set up at, say, like chest to waist height on a squat rack, on the J cups within the squat rack. So you're doing a push-up on that bar, or you're doing a pull. For lack of a better term, it looks like a pull-up, but it's more of a row.
Bodyweight row, yeah.
Right, on there. So you feel what the bar feels like in your hands. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Gotcha.
So, there's that for a new person. And I think that helps because it takes away the intimidation factor of walking up to that barbell or walking up to that rack.
So important.
Right?
Yeah.
The barbell is one of my favorite pieces of equipment. I remember you asked me years ago, if you had to choose, a type of equipment, what would you choose and why? And I think I said a barbell and a rack, just because of its versatility as well. However, you have to be able to pick up the bar if you're going to put it on the rack. And you're going to have to be able to support yourself, as well as the bar if you're going to squat with it or deadlift with it or anything like that. So, or press with it. But again, the versatility of the bars of having different loads. You could have somebody with, not much experience in the gym setting, but that might be athletic, and give them a 10-pound bar, you know, or a 15 kilo bar, and have them go through basic movement patterns after you've assessed whether or not they have quality movement patterns.
Absolutely.
So if you're a new person, I think the most important thing is just getting the bar in their hands somehow, right? So like if you're walking to a gym the first time and you've never really used one before and you're not really sure, if you know you have enough strength to maybe push your own body weight up, 10 or 15 times, and maybe you can get under a 45-pound bar and push that bar up. Give it a, go over there.
YouTube is a great place to find out where your hands need to be on a barbell. By the way, go to like Red Dot YouTube channel. By the way, shameless plug, dude. Like, by the way,
we take care of people there. You're right, and I think you mentioned it before. Is getting somebody comfortable with kind of being around the rack and being on the bar and how to set it up and also owning that real estate once they're there. And understanding, I think the last thing about that, because we got into the racks and the barbell thing, is maybe a little etiquette for somebody for somebody that doesn't know or hasn't been in before. Curls. Like, you never bicep curl you
never straight bar curl because if you can't deadlift off the floor what you're curling, there's a serious issue.
There's a whole lot of reasons why you shouldn't be doing that. But all joking aside, like, hey, get in there, get out of there, do your pull-ups or do your push-ups, right? Or your rows or your push-ups. Get in there, get out of there, figure out what it's like to kind of have to adjust the rack a little bit, get that bar on and off the rack, put it back where it belongs, whatever, load weights on. The squat rack and the barbell are a great place to do that. It's very safe. And again, it gives you sort of some familiarity with that side of the gym if you've never been in it before, which again, I think just can warm you up to a lot of the other things that we'll even talk about here in a sec.
Yeah. Well, the other thing with the barbell too is, for you to advance, you have to have the progressive overload, right? And so, I mean, there's a certain point where dumbbells will only get you so far. Let's say you're doing a dumbbell bench press. You're only going to be able to get a certain load of dumbbells up by yourself if you don't have a spotter. Whereas with the barbell, you can load that thing up and you.
Exactly. So the example would be like grabbing two 50-pound dumbbells.
And Cece does this all the time.
She does. Check the gram. It's all over the gram. If you grab two 50-pound dumbbells and you have to pull those off the rack, then you have to get them up onto your legs and you have to get down onto the bench, press those, and then get up off that bench and then re-rack those. It's much different than putting 100 pounds on the bar, right? Because you got a 45-pound bar with, less the 100. So the point of that being like, yes, at some point you'll want to graduate if the goal is hypertrophy and strength and, building strength over time progressively. And you make a good point there.